Coming to you from the heart of the Diocese of Savannah, this is It's Catholic, Y'all, a series of conversations about faith and life. Views expressed in this podcast do not necessarily represent the views of the Diocese of Savannah.
We are here today with the president of Cross Catholic, Michele Sagarino, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Bradley, for having me today. I'm excited to be with you.
Quickly, if you could just tell me just an overview, like what is Cross Catholic?
We work internationally to serve the poorest of the poor, and we work in over 33 countries, supporting 296 programs, and provided last year $406 million worth of aid to those programs. We help the church throughout the world, bishops, nuns, lay missionaries, to be able to provide the basic needs of water and housing and education and microfinance, all with the combination of the spiritual, the social, and the material all working together. So it's a beautiful, beautiful model of subsidiarity, right? Of supporting those that are closest to the need. And that's how we operate.
One of those programs that you were talking about is the Box of Joy program, which is currently underway. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. As I mentioned, we have large-scale programs, and we work long-term with those partners to help alleviate poverty. And about 10 years ago, we really wanted to lift up a faith in action activity to impact Catholics here in the United States, as well as those in the field. So we created Box of Joy. And Box of Joy is a Christmas box program. We created a box and we ship it out to organizations, parishes, schools, Knights of Columbus groups all across the United States. They request a certain amount of these boxes, and they in turn fill it with children's gifts such as clothing or school supplies or just necessities like toothbrushes and socks, etc. They fill it up, and then we collect all those boxes in the beginning of November and ship them to our clearance center in Miami and go through and make sure there's no chocolates that would melt or water that would ruin the gifts. And then they go out to over 8 countries around the world. So children who really have never, ever had a Christmas gift, a gift ever, now receive a Box of Joy, which is a blessing. And we provide those to the missionaries we're already working alongside. But before we send them, we're able to put a rosary in and a story of Jesus, so that those missionaries, when they're distributing to the children and celebrating and having the excitement of receiving a gift, can share that those gifts came from Christ's love in us, in others, to them. And it's been a beautiful experience. In the last 10 years, about 650,000 gifts have come from the United States, children, families, churches, schools, to those in developing countries that have never had a gift.
Well, so this is kind of a special year, though. You guys marking it's an anniversary this year for you.
Yeah, we're going into our 10th year, which is fabulous. Our mission statement is we mobilize the Catholic Church to support the poor and their communities, materially and spiritually, for the glory of Jesus Christ. And so we feel like mobilizing. We want to mobilize here as well. We want children to understand what it feels like to give to someone you don't know and to be able to experience that joy. So, Bradley, you should see the notes that the children put in these boxes. It would bring you to tears. Just, I love you, and I have a great family. What's your family like? And I want you to know that the Lord loves you. Just all these notes from the heart. And I think that comes from stepping outside of ourselves and thinking of others, right? That's the gift we're giving to the children here.
Yeah, the Pope himself has said that he wants a church that goes out to the people. And I think this is a primary example of that effort, going out to the people in need, regardless of you know their beliefs. So it's just a fantastic program. There's a lot of moving parts here, though. Tell me, could you tell me about just kind of uh, what's involved in the process? Like just take me through, like, say, someone is interested in donating a box of joy. Where does it all begin?
Sure. First, I just wanted to say one little thing. You mentioned what the Pope has called us to do. And just last year, actually just this year, I was able to meet with the Pope and gave him a box of joy. And he was just so excited to hear about the program and to see what so many Catholics around the world are participating in. The process has two pieces to it. One is the sign up of groups. That for this Christmas is closed, but I want to explain it because you can sign up for next Christmas. What is currently going on now, I'll start with. You can still go onto our website, boxofjoy.org, and individually give a gift. Well, you sign up for $34 and we at Cross Catholic pack the gift for you. So you could do that in honor of your children, in honor of a loved one, just for yourself. You could participate in sponsoring numerous boxes. So that's one aspect that's currently going on now for this Christmas. But the other is our faith in action, and you can sign up at boxofjoy.org for next year. And what happens is you sign up and you say, I'm the head of a National Council of Catholic Women, and in my area, I would like 100 boxes because we're going to do a big campaign. We're going to fill these boxes. So we at Cross Catholic get those boxes together, posters, brochures, suggestions of what to put in the boxes, everything that you need to run that program. We ask when you participate to pack your own box that you provide a $9 donation in the brochure so that can pay for the shipping of the boxes. So once I've received the boxes in my church or organization, I then give them out, ask people to fill the boxes with clothes, toys, etc. They fill the boxes, and then Cross Catholic Outreach, we send trucks to pick up the boxes all across the United States. And so that's what we're doing in a couple of weeks, the pickup, or a week, I should say. Gosh, time is flying by. We'll be picking up all those boxes. Those boxes travel to our distribution center in Miami. And that in itself is like going on a mission trip. For weeks, we have volunteers fill the distribution center. Christmas music is playing. Kids are there getting their service hours or just participating because they love it. Churches, Knights of Columbus, there are tables full of people going through thousands and thousands of boxes to ensure, like I said, there's no chocolate that would ruin the box. There's no water, any plastic guns or anything like that wouldn't be acceptable. We pull out, and then we put that rosary in and the story of Jesus, wrap it up, seal up the boxes, and those containers, those tractor trailers go off. And that is exciting to see from our warehouse, tractor trailer after tractor trailer of Christmas gifts that are going to be going to children anticipating that joy in communities all around where, children have shared with us that they've never received a gift, or perhaps they have tamales for Christmas and that's their celebration. And they have loving, caring families that would like to be able to give them that. So to watch the whole family come to the distribution, to see the children's smiles, just like our kids when they receive their Christmas gifts, it truly is named appropriately, Box of Joy, because it brings joy to so many children.
Yeah, so we're talking about reaching out to children who are living in poverty, obviously dealing with major issues. It's just so much to for them to deal with on an everyday basis, and giving a box of joy, it's not going to solve all of their problems, but it just feels like a small gesture like this, it makes such a big impact. Is that the feedback you've been getting?
Yes, it makes a huge impact. And what's important is the model of how we support partners around the world is we believe in long-term support. So we're close with our partners. We're helping them with building homes and supplying those funds, or perhaps shipping food. We have a lot of containers throughout the year that go out to fulfill needs for food insecurity. So these partners are addressing the major needs of poverty, and not just addressing them by the material, but by the spiritual, the social, coming together holistically. The full approach is what we believe will transform lives. And I think that's what the Lord calls us to do. That's what the Pope has said to us, right? It's not just about material poverty. It's about the whole person and upholding their dignity. So because we have these long-term relationships, we add this Box of Joy program in. It's just another piece to the puzzle of loving and caring for our brothers and sisters across the world. And it's a fun one. And it brings the community together. We all know that the common good, living together as a community, if it's in our parish or the groups that we belong to, that builds us up as well, doesn't it? And so I feel like the Box of Joy fulfills part of that. Even though it's a fun program, it provides some social connection of the community.
And as you mentioned, there's it's not just a box filled with toys. You're also providing like other items in there.
Yeah, one of the items that you wouldn't think would be like so monumental or transforming is even the school supplies or pencils. I've been in countries where the children have those little, memo books, like a little teeny book for their classroom, and their pencils could be about this big, very small, like worn down to a small inch long or whatever. And I realized that many times as they're writing in these books for their next class or their next year, they're erasing what they did prior years in using the same books. So putting a pad in there, putting the pencils, that means a lot. These children are thirsty for an education. And many times in the very rural communities, even though it is said that education is free, it's given by the government, it's not really. What do I mean by that? Their school uniforms aren't paid for. You have to have a uniform to go to school. Their books aren't paid for. You need that to go to school. Their transportation, sometimes they live so far away that that's just not obtainable to them. So being able to come alongside and support both the Box of Joy and these programs in the community go hand in hand together. And the littlest things like a pencil can make a huge difference. We've seen children open up a box and their favorite thing is a pair of socks. So you just don't know how it's going to touch them. And of course, there's the fun things where the boys are putting on the goofy sunglasses and people have put soccer balls inside the box and flattened it or deflated it and had a pump inside so that the kids could play. Because many times they're kicking around garbage bags tied together and rolled together and having fun just like our kids would out in the backyard. But to have that actual ball, or to be, I think even more importantly, to know that someone's caring and loving for you, that's an important gift.
So what kind of response have you been getting from the Box of Joy ministry?
That's a good question. We piloted the Box of Joy in 2 dioceses, and we could see the response was good. Of course, Archbishop Rhodey was one of our board members at the time, and he piloted it in his area, and he is just a missionary at heart. So that went very well. And Bishop Barbarito piloted it here in Palm Beach, and that went well. So we could see there was a desire. I would have to say that since COVID, the desire has increased exponentially. I feel each of us here in the United States became just a little bit more thirsty for community and maybe felt a little bit more aligned with those that are in need or suffering a little bit. We've seen that increase. So we're seeing a thirst for it. So to answer your question, it's going really well, and people want to participate. Our online Boxes of Joy, which we fill for youth, has been really successful. People are busy. So yes, there's an aspect here to have that community, but also people are very busy and they still want to give. So that gives them a way to do that. And we've seen the participation increase year after year. People saying, okay, I want to send 3 or 4. I'm going to do one for each of my children and give them a certificate that you can print out. So yeah, there's a thirst for it. I see it locally here in our parish, the local giving, and internationally too. Our church is very receptive. Schools are as well. When we started, we thought the schools would be the number one, right? That would really resonate with the youth. And although there is a lot of participation from schools, parishes around the United States, around all the dioceses, they're participating at a much bigger percentage. So I think that's great that we're not just focused inward, but we're focused outward as well as a church. Sometimes individuals around the United States have donated items for that. We have a lovely group of women that make little dresses for the girls. We have a toy maker that has provided these beautiful wooden trucks. I know my boys always loved that when they were younger, many years ago. And so we're able to fill up the boxes for the Box of Joy online quite easily. So when you go to boxofjoy.org, you'll see 2 big tiles or 2 big sections as soon as you go on. One says for groups and one is for individuals that want to participate. And perhaps in your area, there might be a church already participating that somebody might want to pick up a Box of Joy, and they can see that online too. We're thankful because our board is made up of all bishops at Cross Catholic Outreach, and we have Bishop Parks as one of our board of directors. He's newer within the last year, and just a passion for mission as well, and we see that expanding throughout the diocese. Thankful for that.
You can access online. You can go straight from boxofjoy.org, or you can also access it from the Cross Catholic website as well.
You can go to crosscatholic.org and access it. You'll see Box of Joy right in the call down section, the bar across the top. Or you could explore our site and see what we do. What's our heart? What are our core values? What do we believe in? And does that align with what your listeners feel called to do by our Lord? We have, as I said, many different sectors, you could say, to help in, and also many countries. We're expanding in Africa and wanting to do more work there. We see the poverty is huge, and one of our core values is to serve the poorest of the poor. And we see the need for water throughout Africa to be a huge need and a basic building block to anything. If you don't have water, the girls are walking all day to get it. They're not able to go to school. You don't go to school, you're not able to get out of the cycle of poverty and learn or go to a vocational school after. You're spending your whole life getting water, and sometimes literally it could be 6 hours walking, 5 hours. And as they're walking, most of the time women and girls are the water carriers of the world with the big jugs you've seen on their heads. Those weigh 50 pounds. And when they're walking to the current sources of water, it's brown. It's where the animals are as well. And as a mother, I think, gosh, I could be providing this water after walking all these hours, and maybe it's going to make my son, my husband, my family ill. So we really have placed an emphasis on water this year, and you will see a campaign on there called Water for Life in Africa. And, perhaps that's where God is calling you to, or there's so many areas. Haiti is another big one that we support in Guatemala. So just seeing what we're about and how we're truly a Catholic organization and our approach to the alleviation of poverty, it does honor what our church calls, it's called integral human development. It's looking at the whole person, right? Because you could build a house, but you could build a house, but maybe that family's no better off because they don't have the spiritual outreach. We don't mandate it, but it encompasses all that we do. They don't have the social component that's necessary to our work. So that's a very important aspect to us.
Like we take it for granted here, just having clean water. Just what a major thing that is in other parts of the world. Getting back to a Box of Joy, how can a business get involved in Box of Joy?
That's good. We have had businesses get involved in Box of Joy. They can do the same thing, say that they're a group and sign up and receive the boxes, pass them out, let's say, to their employees, collect them, and we would pick them up. They could also get involved by donating material items. Sometimes print facilities have overprinted beautiful shirts or embroidered and maybe just one little letters off, but they're brand new and they're gorgeous shirts and they've been donated. Sometimes little backpacks, the more nylon kind that can fit into a box. Those are great items. And so we've seen corporations and companies come alongside and help in that way as well.
How if in a business or organization, school, if you are if you're a leader of project leader, how would they engage their school to participate in the Box of Joy?
When we send out the boxes, we will send out the information sheets. This is what you do. This is how you pack it. We'll share with them. You can select the age of the child you want to help. If pretend I'm a teacher, right? So with my class, I could tell them, you can pick a girl or a boy. You can pick ages 2 to 4 or 5 to 9 or 10 to 14. Maybe your brother's 13 and you want to do one, pack a box with items that your brother's age group would love. You can pick the girl or the boy and place a note in it. So the teachers that have taken this on really use it as a learning tool. They receive everything. They receive a little brochure that tells all, putting the $9 donation in, explains where the boxes are going, and they'll receive as a leader an update. This is how many children were blessed. This is where it went. So the children can see the full circle of what has happened, what they participated in, and how the children were blessed. So I read that there was one teacher that had classes, I think 2nd and 3rd grade, maybe the two teachers worked together. And she just used it week after week to share about what God calls us to do, how he calls us to love one another, how he calls us to give. And it was a real learning lesson at their level. I've seen confirmation classes say, this is fabulous. We want to do this every year. We not only participated as a confirmation class, but we were able to support it throughout our whole parish. And we were leaders. We learned some leadership traits through this. Because they're talking in front of the parish to get others to participate. They're standing behind the table and sharing about the needs of the most vulnerable around the world. So I believe that we provide a turnkey way to engage, but that each person takes it on in a little different style, right? We've had schools where they ask each classroom to bring a different item. One classroom would bring all socks. One classroom would bring, the pencils and the notebooks. And then they'd have a big assembly where everybody assembles it together. That's beautiful, right? It's a time to come together. So we've participated in it and seen everybody puts their own flair, but the basis of it is just coming together as a community and being able to witness to that community the needs of others and work together for the common good and share the joy.
So, some people out there might be asking, is like, well, why not just send money? Um, what's the benefit of sending a box of joy rather than just sending a monetary donation?
Well, many of our donors do send money, and that money is used to go towards the projects that I shared. And that's very important. And so I guess my answer would be that nothing happens unless the Lord calls you to do it. And He calls us to do many different things. And the need is urgent, what we do. And it's very serious, as I mentioned with the water, or being in someone's home where I just was in Guatemala, where the roof, you literally could see through the twigs. Right? You could see the gaps. That although it was very clean and immaculate, she knew I was coming to visit. Floors are dirt. So when it rains, the bed gets wet that her children are in, the floor turns into mud. Those needs are urgent. Right? But also, I think that having fun, having that community event, letting the children have, just like our children, we're all the same in many ways. That fun aspect, that's important too. So I guess the answer is, when people ask me, what's most important? Is it water? Is it housing? Is it food? Is it box of joy? What's most important? I think that's very individualized, right? Because we all add a little piece into the puzzle to come together and to support one another. So I'd say do both, really, but it's a fun project, and if we're really going to mobilize the Catholic Church, I don't think it's just mobilizing to give to the developing world. I think it's mobilizing to transform us as well, because giving isn't a one-way street, right? They may have material poverty, but maybe we have a different type of poverty. And maybe by giving and participating, God fills up that gap in us as well. So, I don't know, long answer, but I'd say give to both.
Well, that kind of touched on my on my next question or topic, being that this is a program that takes place during the holiday season. For the participants and the recipients, it just seems like this is really a true example of what the holiday season should. It's so easy to get lost in the daily grind of your life, your personal life, and in the holiday season you're bombarded with just this materialistic advertisements, and just and it just seems like this is something that just kind of brings you back to, like, remind you what the true meaning of the holiday season is. And could you expand on that and just kind of say, how is this a reflection of, like, what the Catholic Church is really about?
What are the memories that stay with us? What are those memories? I'm a little bit older now, and what memories stayed with me? What imprinted my heart? What ways did God open my eyes a little broader? I think if I could cite those various examples, almost all of them, if not all of them, would be times in which He showed me the need of others. He connected me with someone who brought me closer to Him, right? Those are the things that I remember. The praying together as a group, my Bible studies, and really listening to the needs. And those needs here, they're not all just material. I'm sure, and if you're a part of a group of men that join together, those needs that you share, they're not just material, financial needs. They're way deeper than that, right? And they can't be solved always with just finances. And I'm not saying that finances aren't important. It is. It's not the whole thing. So I just feel that combining this effort with Christ in the center, with the leaders of the church that we work alongside. Our church is doing great things with these leaders in 296 programs around the world in 33 countries, working with Christ in the center to give a gift, I think impacts both us and those that receive it, not for the material reason. I think it's that heart that can be felt. Just like the times that were imprinted in my childhood, in my college years, in my work career. An example is I just interviewed someone for a work position at Cross to serve at our ministry. And this gentleman said, his college daughter said, "Dad, do you remember 10 years ago, I participated with you at Box of Joy. We filled those boxes. That's that ministry. Remember how great that was?" Maybe she's forgotten all the other things that she received or did, but when God is in the center, it fills us, right? It fills us. And so I don't know if I hit what you were asking, but I think it goes far beyond the material. It goes to that connectivity that we can only have when Christ is at the center. We believe that there is no transformation without the Lord. And that doesn't mean we go into a community and say, "Are you Catholic? You can have house." Or "Do you believe in our Lord?" No. It means we support those missionaries, those bishops, those leaders to be able to do what God called them to do and to provide the material aid as part of how they reach out to their communities, just like we do here in the United States. So, it imprints in your heart, I think. I've seen a lot of college football players at the screening center around the table, like teasing each other and everything. And when they see the video of where these boxes are going, or they hear someone talk about the program and the children that are going to receive this, I've seen tears. I think those are the moments that we will remember in our lives, right? Where we're just touched. We're just touched.
Is there anything you would like to add about the program?
I would just encourage any of our listeners to, first of all, thank them for participating. Many schools and parishes have participated in the diocese. I just want to thank them for that, for their trust in us. We are very prayerful as a ministry. The first hour of every day, we have prayer and devotion. Sometimes it's a Bible study. Some days it's praying out loud for all our donors. So I encourage your listeners, if there's a prayer request that they would like to send, go to crosscatholic.org, place it in, be assured that we will pray for you, because we want to do that as a ministry. And if God is calling you to look for a Catholic ministry to support, be it housing, water, education, just whatever desire you feel called to, take a look. We'd love to partner with you. And if you want to add to your Christmas season, for sure, go to boxofjoy.org and let us pack a box. It will make someone like Dulce Maria, the very first little girl that ever received a box, and is now, I think, 13. I think she was 3 or 4 when she first received it. She talks about how that changed her community, how she got up early and could barely wait to open the box and to see what it's like. And she remembers that. Now, since then, she's received other boxes, but you could really participate and change just one child's life. And that in itself is a miracle, in my opinion. So thank you so much for having us and for being an ambassador for our ministry. It means a lot to us, Bradley.
Oh, absolutely. It is our pleasure. And thank you for joining us. For more information, people can go to boxofjoy.org or visit the Cross Catholic website at crosscatholic.org. And once again, thank you, Michele, and have a blessed holiday season.
You too. You too. God bless you.
Thank you.
This has been an episode of It's Catholic, y'all. Visit us at diosav.org or on our Diosav social media platforms for more.